In the days that followed, the kingdom of Eldoria mourned the loss of Queen Nia and celebrated her memory with solemn ceremonies and heartfelt tributes. And as the people came together to honor their fallen queen, King Ayo vowed to rule with the same kindness and compassion that she had shown to their people. Though the jealous maiden had been banished from the kingdom, her actions served as a stark reminder of the dangers of envy and jealousy. And as the kingdom moved forward from the tragedy that had befallen them, they vowed to cherish the memory of Queen Nia and the love that she had shared with King Ayo forever and always. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the kingdom of Eldoria struggled to come to terms with the loss of their beloved queen, Nia. While life in the kingdom continued on, there was a palpable sense of grief that hung over the land like a heavy fog. King Ayo, once known for his towering stature and regal bearing, seemed to shrink before the eyes of his subjects. The weight of his grief pressed down upon him like a crushing burden, and despite his best efforts to carry on, he found himself consumed by a darkness that seemed to have no end. Unable to bear the pain of his loss, King Ayo turned to food for solace. He would spend hours in the royal kitchens, indulging in lavish feasts that brought him a fleeting sense of comfort. Rich meats, creamy sauces, and sweet desserts became his constant companions, filling the void left by the absence of his beloved queen. As the days passed, King Ayo's once trim figure began to expand, his clothes growing tight around his ever-widening waistline. His once handsome face became bloated and puffy, his features obscured by layers of excess flesh. The transformation was startling, and it seemed as though the vibrant king that the kingdom had once known had all but disappeared. The people of Eldoria watched with a mixture of concern and sorrow as their once great king descended further and further into the depths of his despair. They longed to help him, to ease the pain that seemed to consume him from within, but they knew not how to reach him. In his private chambers, King Ayo brooded over the memories of his lost queen, Nia. He could still hear her laughter echoing in the halls of the palace, see the warmth of her smile reflected in the faces of their subjects. But no matter how hard he tried, he could not shake the emptiness that had taken root in his heart. As the months turned into years, King Ayo's despair only deepened. He withdrew from the affairs of the kingdom, retreating further and further into himself. The once grand palace, which had once buzzed with life and activity, now lay silent and still, a shadow of its former glory. But amidst the darkness that surrounded him, there was one beacon of light that shone through the gloom. Nala, the maid who had once offered him solace in his time of need, remained steadfast by his side, her unwavering loyalty a source of strength and comfort. Nala had watched with a heavy heart as King Ayo succumbed to his grief, her own sorrow mirroring his. She longed to reach out to him, to offer him the same comfort and support that he had once offered her, but she knew that he was lost in a darkness that she could not penetrate. And so, she remained by his side, tending to his needs with quiet dedication and unwavering loyalty. She would prepare his meals with care, choosing the freshest ingredients and the healthiest options in a desperate attempt to bring him back from the brink of despair. But despite her best efforts, King Ayo's voracious appetite seemed to know no bounds. He would devour his meals with reckless abandon, his eyes glazed over with a hunger that could never be satisfied. And with each passing day, he seemed to grow larger and larger, his once majestic form now obscured by layers of excess fat. The people of Eldoria watched with a mixture of sadness and disbelief as their once great king became a mere shadow of his former self. They whispered among themselves, wondering what had become of the man who had once ruled over them with wisdom and compassion. But amidst the despair that gripped the kingdom, there was a glimmer of hope. For as King Ayo's physical appearance deteriorated, his heart remained unchanged, and deep within the recesses of his soul, a spark of longing still burned bright.